Welcome to Mysteries, Myths, and Legends. I'm Taylor.
I'm Savannah.
And happy Juneteenth for those listening on the day that this actually comes out. It is Juneteenth.
Yeah, happy Juneteenth.
We are celebrating. I'm off work that day. We're recording in the...
You do?
Yeah.
See, my company's giving us a holiday that day.
Really? Oh, no, I don't have to work. I'm off work is what I said.
Oh, I thought you said you have work.
No, off.
Okay. Okay.
No, that would
Sorry,
be a crime.
misheard.
Federal...
Okay, so we're both off.
Yeah, we're both off. Which is exciting because we're recording ahead of time. So I forgot that we have next Wednesday off of work. I don't think that really processed in my mind until I just actually said it out loud. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But so me
actually, wait,
go ahead.
can I just interrupt real quick? Like, honestly, I'm looking at the calendar. The next few weeks, I like have stuff planned where like I don't have a full week of work the next few weeks.
I love that for you.
Like next week, Juneteenth, and then the week after that, I have a little vacay, and then the week after that, 4th of July. Like,
Good.
dang.
Actually, me too, except for me too. I'm really not going to be working. It's a good thing my job's paying me for a while. Thank goodness. You know what? We need this break. We need a summer break.
Do.
Bring back summer break for adults. Because
So true. Because honestly, I think people like corporations or okay, I guess I'm not gonna fully say this, but like
corporate America, listen up.
the companies that I've worked for, at least like where I've worked, it just seems a lot slower during the summer. So it's like, do you need all of us?
Okay, see, to be fair, the summer is our peak season.
Oh, well, see, that's why I was gonna say all companies, but I'm like, no, I shouldn't say that.
Can we have a winter break at least? Like, we don't get a winter break either. We don't get a break.
Yeah.
No break. All work, no breaks, no play. So lame. So
okay, I'm gonna just say this out into the void, and then maybe it'll become a reality someday. But what if we had like, some people worked a schedule where they had a summer break where it was a few months off, and then other people worked during the summer and had their break in the winter. Yeah.
I think we should do that.
Because then
I really do.
Yeah.
Because everybody's so burnt out. Okay. United States of America, I know you're listening. Whoever is in the government, take that into consideration.
But we have to specify that we still get paid on those.
Yeah.
We
still get, it's break. A paid break. It's a paid break.
Yes.
Yeah. No, not for free. Not for free, honey. No.
We need it.
Not also to be speaking of work, but I've been working overtime because, again, summer is our busy season, unfortunately. But, I always, every single year, forget how much not fun it is to work overtime because I feel like 40 hours is already pushing it. And then to go over that is like, it's just way too much.
Yeah.
It's way too much. Yeah. Like, I don't understand how people out there have like 80-hour-a-week jobs. Like, for example, my brother. I don't know how he does that.
No, because then that just becomes your whole life.
Yeah. And that cannot be
crazy.
Me. I'll go crazy. I'll have to literally go and be admitted if I was to, be working that much every single week. All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would not be good. Honestly. But anyway, speaking of not work and all play, over this past weekend, me and Savannah got to do something really cool that
yes,
I've never really heard of before, but apparently other cities do it. So we have this children's museum in downtown Winston-Salem. It just opened. It's like brand new, and they actually like closed it down to like the children and opened it up to only 21 plus. And they brought in bars and like we got to like buy tickets to the museum, and it came with 2 alcohol tickets. So we got like 2 drinks with the ticket, and then we got to just play around in the museum, just a whole bunch of adults for so many hours. And we were running around like children. Every single person I saw was acting like a child. Like if I wasn't really paying attention, I would think that there were children there.
Yeah. No, it was really fun. And they even had like a band playing.
Yeah, it was so fun.
And it was really fun. And they didn't even like change much. Like it was still
Yeah,
just all
they
like
just added the
kids.
bars.
Yeah. Like it was still like kids like
Like we played tag
things to go to. Yeah.
throughout the whole museum. That was intense. First of all, that was a very intense game of tag. Um, and there was also this. I don't know what they called it, like an electrodome situation,
Yes.
where I guess in regular life it's like a planetarium
Yes.
type situation, but on this specific night it was like an electric dance music carnival. It was basically like the Walmart version of the Sphere, if you can imagine
it
that.
was really
like the
cool.
Las
It was
Vegas
really
Sphere. It was really cool. It was so crazy. We were just looking at it, and I'm just trying to think of all the other fun, like the water room. Okay, listen, I know all kids love the water room at any museum. Anytime you get to like touch water and make a mess, it's just fun. But the amount of fun that we had in that water room, I will never, I'll never get over. We were like clogging. I really thought I broke that one thing. I was scared that I did.
Yeah.
I don't know if we, that's we'll never know. That's the thing, we'll never know. But it was super fun, and they're gonna hopefully start doing it monthly. And I'm really honestly trying to go back because
Me too. I'm down.
it was fun. It was so fun. So, yeah, yeah. But other than that, rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, please, if you would, and also go check out our YouTube and our TikTok, because we got some good stuff coming for you. But if you want to go ahead and get into your story, Savannah.
Okay. Yeah, let's just get right on into it. So, this week I have another cryptid. Did I do a cryptid last week too? Maybe.
Last week
I'm looking
you did
back.
the old man of Crater Lake. So I don't
Okay.
really know what we classified that as, considering it's a tree log. If you didn't listen to last week's, go listen, because you're going to be so confused by that last sentence that I just said.
Yeah. I think he's
A legend.
Yeah, he's just a legend. Yeah.
And a mystery.
A
Honestly,
living legend.
Yeah. The man, the myth, the legend.
Literally, yeah.
Literally.
So, but yeah, no, we're going back to cryptids this week. So, this week I have the story of the lizard man of Scape or Swamp.
Scape. Okay.
Yeah.
The lizard man.
Scape or Swamp in Lee County, South Carolina.
Oh, Lee County, South Carolina, honey. That ain't too far from us now.
You know where Lee County is? I didn't really look it up on a map, and I'm not too good with...
I really, given my job, I should know. I'm going to look it up right now because...
I was just wondering, since you sounded like you knew of it, or were you just saying since it's South Carolina?
No, I've definitely driven down there.
Okay.
It's like, I'm trying to think. I'm looking it up, actually. It's like right outside of Florence.
Okay.
Which I don't think you've ever been there. But,
No.
I have been there. It's like not that far from Columbia.
Okay.
It's like an hour.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's where our story is this week. And we're also going back in time to the summer of 1988.
Oh.
Yeah.
Fun.
So let's get right on into it. I'm going to go through the story of like the first sighting of this creature. So, one dark and humid night in July of 1988.
Oh, we're coming up on the anniversary.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Chris Davis, a local teen, he was 17. He was on his way home after a shift at the McDonald's.
Period.
Yeah. Casual. And unfortunately his tire blew out, or he got a flat, He just needed to change his tire.
Tragic.
And he got, and this happened near the swamp. Near Scape or Swamp. So, he gets out of his car to change the flat tire, and he has a spare, so all is good. He's changing it, and then he hears a sound.
I would be very afraid that it was a gator, personally me.
Honestly, yeah. That's definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that could happen.
Sure could.
South Carolina, and it's a swamp. So.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he hears a sound, and then he starts to like make out like what the sound actually is, and it sounds like somebody's running towards him.
Mm-mm.
Someone or something is running towards him.
Honey, I would get in my car so fast and I would drive without a tire. I mean, I would just drive that thing. I would just drive that thing as far as it could go.
Yeah. Well, see, at this point, I think he's like finishing up with the tire, but it starts to get closer.
No.
And it starts to like take form, sort of, because it's dark out.
Yeah, it's
and
nighttime.
it's a little bit
There's swamp. It's swamp area.
Exactly, swamp area. So there's maybe like a little bit of fog. So it gets closer, and he starts to make out what it looks like, and he couldn't believe what he was seeing. Of course.
Of course.
He says that it was 7 foot tall.
My God.
Had red eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Scaly skin, and it had 3 toes on each foot, like hands and feet, like 3 toes.
No, is this man seeing an alligator?
Yeah, 7 foot tall, like
7 feet long. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the alligator learned how to stand up.
I guess. I mean, could be. So Chris, he jumps back into his car. I guess his tire is on at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He gets into his car and speeds away, but he was a little bit too late because the creature was already too close. It grabbed at his car and ripped off the side mirror.
What?
And jumps on top of the car, dents the roof.
What?
Yeah.
Wait.
Messes up his car.
What? Okay, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
Was it on his car?
Yeah, according to this account.
Okay.
It jumped on his car, yeah.
Okay. But like once he drove away, it wasn't like still on his car.
No, yeah, it must have...
It got off at some point.
Got off, yeah.
Okay,
It's not like he drove it home or something.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like when he got to wherever he was going, he didn't get out and it was still on top of his car. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's
horrifying,
but it just
jumped. He just jumped on there. So after this all happened, like he ended up getting home, and this attack was reported to the sheriff eventually. Like I don't know if he directly like tried to reach the sheriff and let him know, or if he just told like the local police, and then it got to the sheriff eventually. But the sheriff knows about it now. Sheriff Liston Truesdale. And he and his deputies actually took this really seriously.
Yeah, I mean, that's horrifying. Like, that could hurt somebody. Even if it is just an animal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like... Yeah, exactly. Even if it isn't, like, exactly like he described it. It's like, something jumped on your car? Like that. Like, that's crazy. So... he investigated the claims, and they even had Chris Davis take a polygraph test, which he passed.
Wow, okay.
So,
well,
yeah. And a few weeks after this happened and, got into the news, several other people who lived in the area started reporting seeing the same creature. Yeah. So, some people were claiming that they reported that they had their cars attacked by some sort of creature that ripped off their bumper and looked like they chewed it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't know what's going down here.
Me neither. I'm trying to think of anything that would make sense other than these people doing it to themselves. Because if that's real, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
I ain't
imagine going out to your car and your bumper is ripped off, but it's like
bitten
maybe
like a shark.
But maybe it's like on the ground right below your car, and it looks like something bit it.
Yeah, I would be not only so worried, but I would be so mad. I would be both. I would be like, what? But also,
yeah,
I would be so mad. But then no, I would actually, if I saw that, I would just probably run in my car.
Yeah. I'd probably like go inside and like call the police or something. I don't know.
True.
Like, what do you do at that point?
Yeah.
So the deputies, the sheriff's deputies, they were pretty busy that summer. They were chasing down lizard leads, and
Lizard leads.
and they also discovered huge three-toed footprints in the swamp.
Okay. I feel like that's not very uncommon, but okay.
Yeah, and they did make like plaster casts of them
Oh,
to
interesting.
like prove they're like, oh, here's a cast of the lizard man's
Did it
foot.
prove that it was like 7 foot tall? Like, was it a big old foot?
Well, I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know if it proved anything necessarily,
Okay.
but they did it. They got the cast.
Hey, I mean, at least the police are on it.
Yeah, sure.
As much as they can be.
So, the lizard man, like this story was really spreading around town and around the country at this point. It was in the news, and the lizard man sort of became a national celebrity.
Wow. Good for the lizard man.
Yeah, it started to put Lee County on the map. Which is what cryptids do, People start coming for the to find the creature. So newspapers, TV stations from all over the area, from all over were coming to the area to go to the swamp and talk to the people about this creature and try to see the monster themselves.
Why?
So.
I'm like, see, I was thinking, like, why though? Like, you want your bumpers off your car?
Well, they need it. They want it for their, like, to put on the news.
Oh, okay. Well, that's true. That's
yeah,
true.
like TV people and like newspaper people trying to get pictures.
I was just imagining like random people like, oh, let's go find the lizard man. Like, I don't want to ruin my car.
Oh, I mean, a lot of people were going for that as well. That's random people.
That's crazy. But that's just my brain because I have a new car.
Okay, but this next thing I'm going to say, like, might change your mind a little bit. Because a radio station in Colombia, they offered $1 million for a reward for the capture of the lizard man.
Yep. Mine changed. Immediately I'd go.
And this prize was never claimed.
Oh, darn. Is it still an option?
I mean, I don't know, maybe.
Okay, we need to reach out. Because if so, then we got to plan a trip immediately. Hey, that ain't that far.
I'm saying, like, maybe we need to go try to find this lizard man and get the $1 million.
Exactly.
Like, was there a time limit, or was this, like...
Is there a statute of limitations?
Yeah, we gotta, like, look into this more. So that all happened in, the late 80s. And then, the story of the lizard man, it sort of started to just kind of fade out over the years. Because people weren't seeing it as much, and they were like, okay, it's just not as big of a story anymore. So, but recently, around 2018, actually, there was a rebirth, sort of people talking about the lizard man again.
Oh. Yikes.
Yeah, so in 2019, the Friends of the Lizard Man Committee was formed.
I want to be in the committee.
So, that's cool.
I want to be his friend.
This part kind of just reminds me of, like, what happened with Mothman, right? Mm-hmm. Isn't that similar? Like, it kind of died out and then came back, yeah.
For sure. And now look at it. Very
exactly,
famous.
yeah. So, just as they were starting to take off with this committee and everything, COVID hit. So...
Oh. No.
Yeah, they unfortunately had to put it on hold for a few years, and they do have a motto that is preserving the legend.
Love that. I love that.
Yeah, and in 2022, they hosted their first Stomp, which is like a festival that they put on.
Yeah, I figured.
And it's named that because of the footprints of the lizard man.
I love that.
Mm-hmm. And, it's what you would expect, like, organizations come, selling lizard themed
Wait, we need
things.
to go. Is it
I
happening
know.
again this year? We need to look that up.
I think it could.
It's
This would
really not that far from here. It's like 2 hours.
this would be their third one.
Okay, we really need to see.
Yeah.
Because I want lizard gear. Maybe we take your car.
Wow. Just in case it gets my bumper.
Just kidding. Mine's under warranty, so we can get mine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so this festival has like live music and dancing. There's a car show, which is a little bit interesting because
That's ironic.
Yeah, because the lizard man was destroying cars, but there's a car show.
They're trying to lure
lots
him
of
in.
Yeah, honestly, maybe that's what they're trying to do, lure him in. Lots of t-shirts and other lizard man merch. And in 2023, they added a parade to the festival.
Oh.
And more vendors. They made it bigger. So honestly, like this year, they're probably going to make it even bigger.
Yeah. Okay, we actually need to, it's coming up, so we need to check it out.
Yes. So back to what I sort of was, the original story of the lizard man, like the first sighting. There are some issues with the story. How do you feel about the lizard man story? Like, how convinced are you?
I'm not very convinced. I feel like it's an alligator.
Okay.
Like, I really, actually, genuinely do
Yeah.
feel like it's an alligator. Like, they're
Okay.
mean. And they live in the swamp there. So, that's
There
my
is a
theory.
theory, so we'll get there. So according to the sheriff, Chris's story never wavered, and like he was telling the truth the whole time, and it was the same every time he told it. But in reality, Chris's story changed like many times. Every time he would tell it, he sort of like added details or like changed things a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, for example, he said that the creature had scales, and then he was like, yeah, it was packed with mud. Just added that in there. And he was also like, he would be questioned, like, how did you see it when there was no lighting and you were in the dark? Which, I mean, I guess.
Okay, but is there not a street light? Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, there probably wasn't.
But he probably
streetlights.
had a flashlight if he was changing the tire.
No, you're right. And like the moonlight.
I mean, if he could change a tire, I think he could see something running at him. Also, you can see in the darkness, especially if you've been out there. Your eyes have adjusted to the darkness. He was out there, like that. I do believe he saw something. I just don't know what he saw necessarily.
Yeah.
Plus, he passed the polygraph test, so that's like a big, because it's really easy to fail those. So the fact that he passed is like also making me believe him a little bit.
Another thing with the polygraph is that like a lot of people say that it was probably a publicity stunt to make his story. To make his story more believable. Like he did it, but like it was to make the story more believable.
I see.
Yeah,
I see that.
Yeah.
Side too.
So, could be because this did get a lot of people to the area to see the lizard man. So like, and it still does with their festival they got going on.
But what did it get, Chris? Nothing.
Yeah, I guess so. So there is something about that though. There's sort of a theory on what he actually saw that night, because like I guess one theory could be that like he just made it all up and he never saw anything and he's like, let's just make up this story. But honestly, I think he did see something.
Me too. I believe that he saw something.
But maybe it wasn't as crazy as he says.
Yeah. Also, if something's running at me through the woods, I'm definitely thinking the worst. So just because, like, he might have saw it and just immediately, like, his brain pictured it as, like, oh, it's a scary lizard monster. Very big. But it wasn't actually.
Yeah. And, like, the one big thing is that, like, he talks about his car getting, like, it jumped on his car and, like, ripped his mirror off. There are no pictures of his car getting damaged.
No, come
so
on
there's
now.
no proof that this happened.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, but I didn't want to be too early in the story to ask if there was pictures of the car because I wanted to see what it looked like.
Yep, no pictures.
That's not
So yeah. And people also question his like timing of the story, like I don't know, I guess maybe like did you really change the tire that fast? Like
well, yeah, that's true. But I mean,
and like him talking about like this lizard man coming out of the shadows and like getting to him so quickly. I guess. So, okay, so the theory is, and this I do believe, and you're gonna laugh when you hear this. So, there's an investigator, Alicia Lutz, and she suggests that what Chris actually saw was a local butterbean farmer who lived nearby.
what does that mean? What literally does that mean?
Lucius Elmore, he was a farmer. He farmed butterbeans.
Okay.
And he lived near the swamp.
Okay.
And the theory is that he saw Chris with his car near his farm and he thought there was like thieves or something. So he went out to investigate and confront them. But then Chris just ran away and didn't end up seeing that it was a farmer. So he made up this whole story like, oh, something was chasing me. And then it probably got like into a bigger and bigger story.
Yeah.
Oh, it jumped on my car.
Okay.
So that is the theory. And I kind of believe it. And I think it's funnier. Yeah. I don't know why it's funny just because he's a butterbean farmer.
No, that is why it's funny. But I'm just confused. Like, the only thing about that theory that doesn't make sense is like I imagine like this man is an older man in South Carolina, like he's not talking, he's not like get off my lawn, get off my property, because that's what I imagine somebody would say. Like I wouldn't just if I saw somebody on. Speaking of which, let me just tell you guys right now, there are people parked on my property right now, and I'm about to have to go out there and be like get off my lawn, literally. So like. I'm just like, why would he? I'm not just going to start running towards them to get them off my property. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would he just start in the middle of the night? I wouldn't start running at nobody.
Right. You're right, but like, I don't know. Maybe if you're already out there for some reason.
I mean, maybe, but that's maybe giving, like, get out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, that scene where he's running
like, maybe
really
he already had issues with this in the past.
Yeah, maybe. And maybe he's just over it. I mean, I think that's like a very reasonable theory. I would say. I don't know. Maybe a mix of everything is a little bit true. Mm-hmm. You know?
A mix of everything. So the farmer, he was actually an alligator. And
no, there's no alligator. There's no lizard. Like, he's a farmer. But, like, he just, like, Chris really did believe that that's what he was seeing.
And the farmer actually did jump on his car. No. The farmer actually did come by and take their bumpers off of their car and chew them.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible. I don't know what that farmer's into. Butterbeans, apparently. He's passionate about his butterbeans, if that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's a theory that works, but it's not a theory that I really feel like very solid too.
Yeah, okay. I do kind of agree. I was pretty solid. Like, honestly, it's, like, more solid than anything else we have. But
I agree. I just feel like it's weird that he's running towards him in the middle of the night and not saying anything. Like, I just feel like that's so weird. Like, maybe he doesn't know how to communicate. I don't know what this farmer knows, but, like, I would just be screaming. Because I would be scared if somebody was running at me screaming in the middle of the night. That would scare me. Like, if I was trying to steal his butterbeans, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just find it strange that he wouldn't say something. Or maybe he is, and then Chris just made up this whole story just to make up a story.
None of it was true. Literally none of it.
Right. Yeah. He literally never even stopped. He was like, you know what would be funny? Maybe I can stop working at McDonald's if I tell this lizard story. Maybe that's what he thought.
I mean,
unfortunately, not the case.
I know. So, I did look up the lizard man stomp,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it looks like it's on Saturday, June 29th.
Oh, snap, that's
So
really
it is
soon.
coming up.
Honey, that's really soon.
Yeah.
Hold on. Saturday the 29th? Okay, well, I guess we'll have to see if we're going to make it to that. I think I'm free that weekend, so we'll see.
I know. And let's see, I wonder how far of a drive that would be.
I think it's like 3 hours.
In Bishopville, South Carolina.
We gonna talk like that the whole weekend? Or we're talking like that as if that ain't real close to our house, honestly. Like,
Okay, it is. Yep, it's around 3 hour
yeah,
drive.
see, I don't know why you didn't believe me. I've been there before. I've been there before. Been there. I drove through that town many a time.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, we might see for ourselves if how about this? Hear me out. If we go, we gotta at least go steal some beans.
Oh my gosh.
Just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But
like, I'm just saying, like, if we gotta get this farmer out here to chase us through the woods so we can prove once and for all. Like, we need to look up also about that $1 million. Because
oh yes, see if that's
if we're
still
going,
up for grabs.
I'll find something to bring back to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, we need to start planning that. Maybe we could do like a day trip.
Yeah. No, definitely.
That is kind of far. Well, I mean, maybe it's not too far for a day
It's
trip.
not that far. I would say that's perfectly a day trip worthy.
Okay. Well, there we go.
Here we go. Unless we're trying to find them, which that has to happen at night. So, but again, my car's new, so unless we're taking your car.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, well, it's, I'm just trying to find a segue. There's none. So let's just get into my story. This story is absolutely bananas, okay? Absolutely bananas. I have no idea how I've never heard of this before, but yet the name sounded so familiar to me that I had to check our page like 100 times to make sure we didn't do it. And then I looked up and like, no, really, like not a lot of people have. So I'm like, okay. I'm just confused how this story has gone under the rug because it's crazy.
Okay.
So, anywho, we are covering the legend of Ingrid Cold.
Oh.
AKA,
okay.
Also known as the Smiling Man.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah. We'll get into the name. I thought it was a woman too. I was so expecting her to be a woman with the name Ingrid, but no, it's a man. It's the Smiling Man. So, yeah, and so he's known as the Smiling Man or the Grinning Man. Now, what is interesting is that not only did you connect your story to Mothman, but my story actually has a very close connection to my favorite cryptid, the Mothman, as well. So that's interesting. And so,
wait, what? Connection to the Mothman.
Connection to the Mothman. Yep. So,
okay. And you didn't know about that before you started looking into it?
Oh, no. Nope.
Damn.
Somebody had told me to cover it in your cold, but I didn't have any idea that it was connected to Mothman until I started looking it up. And so now how are they connected, you may ask? Well, let's just get right on to the story, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to take it back in time to November 1966, the year that my father was born. But we're going to a small town called Mineral Wells, West Virginia. Now, also not too far away from where my father was born. So,
oh, wow. So it's really a connection to your dad.
Yeah, actually. I mean, he was about 9 months old when this event happened. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
What a little bebe he was. So, on this day, there was this man by the name of Woodrow Derenberger, and he was actually a sewing machine salesman at the time, which is crazy to think that we had those back then.
Yeah.
In the 60s. But yeah, so Woodrow, he was on his way back to Mineral Springs from a business trip to Marietta, Ohio, when he had to stop on the side of the road because he could hear his sewing machines like in the back of his truck, like they didn't sound very secure. This is another reason why our stories are very connected this week, because this man also had to stop on the side of the road and then saw something.
Oh,
So that's very
okay.
interesting. So, like I said, he stopped because he wanted to make sure that all of his sewing machines were secure, safe, weren't going to fly out of his vehicle. So he fixed all the machines, tied them all down, got back in his car, and started up the road again. And he drove for just like a minute or two when he noticed lights ahead of him coming from the other direction, but they were like stopped on the other side of the road. And, this is the 60s, West Virginia, kind of the middle of nowhere. He just assumed, or just kind of thought, like, hey, this is maybe the police. So he slowed down and, like, kind of stopped as he, like, passed it and just was like, hey, everything okay? But then when he slowed, he discovered, oh no, these lights that I'm seeing actually don't belong to a car. They actually belong to what he claims to look like an aircraft that looked similar to a kerosene lamp chimney.
Oh, okay.
Hmm. So it's
Interesting.
not a car, it's an aircraft. So an unidentified aircraft. So a UFO. Um it wasn't
Okay.
flying at the time, an unidentified parked flying object.
Right, right,
But
right.
he did see it. And Woodrow said that a man stepped out of this quote unquote vehicle slash aircraft and approached his truck. So Woodrow actually told the news station this as well, but he describes the man as looking perfectly natural and normal as any human being. Because when he saw the aircraft, he was like, am I about to see an alien?
Oh,
Like low key in
yeah.
his mind.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you see a UFO, I mean, the next thought is okay, there's gonna be an alien, right? So
Yeah.
he's describing this man. He said he looks perfectly natural, normal as any human being would. He said that this guy had like a really deep suntan, but like not too dark. It didn't look like it was a spray tan, but he was just like
Mm-hmm.
very tan, and it just looked like he had been like maybe had a job like that worked out in the sun a lot for like a long
Okay.
period of time. He also claims that this man's hair was like combed straight back and it was a dark brown color and that it was like relatively thick hair and that he said that he would never be able to pick this man out of a crowd. Like that's how normal he looked.
Hmm.
But was he normal? um well, no, he was not. And Woodrow definitely claims that he was not normal. One really off putting thing about this guy was that he had an extremely large grin.
Oh, ew, I don't like
Like, and
that.
he describes it as like not all the way Joker style, but like similar.
Ew.
Like, very long, wide. So I'm like, yeah, that sends chills down my spine even thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't know why, like, a big grin like that, like, is creepy, because, a smile is supposed to be, pleasant.
True, but
But
also,
if it's
like,
too big like that, I don't know.
yeah, but if you think about it like a smile with like animals, like when they're showing all their teeth, that's like kind of showing dominance, low key. Like if we're talking
Yeah,
about like dogs and
true.
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I think what makes me sickened by a lot of teeth is that it reminds me of the anime. I think it's called Attack on Titan. Like the Titans have
Yes,
like the
yes,
Titan teeth.
that's exactly what I thought of too.
And that's disgusting. So, yeah, that's what he's described as. So, just a regular looking man with that kind of a mouth. And so, I'm like, if you don't know what that is, just Google it and you'll see exactly what we're talking about.
Okay, how's that regular looking?
Well, he said everything but that, and one other thing was regular.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
everything but his smile. So, that's why he was like, I mean, people have weird qualities about them. Maybe he just has a big mouth. And which could entirely be true. But the other weird thing was that Woodrow claimed that this man kept his arms folded and kept his hands under his armpits the entire time. So, like, he never saw his hands. And I'm like, interesting. Like, that's just, like, it's not even that weird of a thing because maybe he was just chilling with his arms crossed. But, like, that's a little weird.
It is.
It also seems, like, very closed off. Like, I feel like if you were trying to approach and be like, I'm friendly, you would want to, like, put your arms down and. Just body language. Like things that maybe an alien wouldn't necessarily know about a human.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like body language and like what that tells us. Um So, let me see where I lost my spot. Okay, so here's the good part. There's really three things that made this man weird. His smile, his arms being crossed, and lastly, that he communicated with Woodrow telepathically.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
maybe you weren't expecting that, but the way that Woodrow knew that he was communicating with him telepathically is because Woodrow could hear him speaking, but he was watching this man's mouth the entire time, and the entire time he was speaking to him, like he could hear the man's talking while the huge steady grin never moved. Like it was still a huge grin across his face the whole time. So either he was like, what are they called? Like the puppet master, like a puppeteer or
Oh,
whatever.
yeah, he was doing,
Ventriloquist. Either
ventriloquy,
he was
yeah.
like the best ventriloquist ever, or he was communicating with him telepathically. So, discussing it. Also, writing this at night, this story really freaked me out because I was like, I'm disgusted. Just,
That is so creepy, just picturing,
mm-mm.
trying to think about somebody doing,
Mm-hmm.
like, just being in the presence of somebody doing this
Literally.
is so creepy. I
And
don't like it.
there were so many pictures like of people like drawing the depictions of this man, and it's just ooh, his smile is so creepy. It's just like the movie Smile. Like that's a relatively new movie. I know you haven't seen it, Savannah, but most people probably have, or at least have not, if not seen it, heard of it, because their
Right.
publicity that they did for that movie was crazy. Like they would have people go out and like pay them to go to like sports games and sit in the back and be on the jumbotron just smiling the creepiest smile. And that was part of like the PR for the movie. So
Ugh.
like smiles can be like scary, kind of inherently. If it's like an evil looking smile.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyways, Woodrow claims that no, you have to remember all of this is telepathically being spoken to him. Okay, not out loud. But he claims that the man asked him to roll down his window, and he did. Now, I'm just saying, if it was me, as much as I want to meet an alien, I'm not rolling down that window, honey. I'm driving away. I'm driving away.
Yeah, honestly.
Like, I do want to see it. I really would love to meet an alien, and I beg them to come talk to me. But, like, talk to me when I'm not by myself. Anybody can be with me. I don't care. But, like, not alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But, Woodrow, he did. He rolled down his window. And the man asked, he said, "What are you called?" And so Woodrow assumed that he was asking, like, what his name was. And so he was like, "Oh, my name is Woodrow." And the man asked him, "Why are you frightened?" And at that moment,
Oh, God.
if I had stayed that long, honey, the gas pedal would have been through the floorboards.
Like, at this point, is something compelling him to
I
stay?
think so. I think, like, he doesn't ever really say that, but, like, I'm pretty sure. Because,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
this man, he seems pretty, like, level-headed as a normal human being. So I'm just like, why are you just having a conversation with this man? Or maybe he was just super curious. I don't know. It was, like, the 60s. So people were different back then. But,
I mean, honestly, you are right. Weren't people more, like, willing to go up and ask you random
for
stuff like
sure,
that?
for sure. I mean, this was the era of, like, hitchhiking and all this stuff. Like, that was crazy that we would never do today. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so it was just a different time. And maybe this guy, he was just like, maybe he needs help. But anyway, so he asked, "Why are you frightened?" Immediately, before Woodrow could even respond, this man says, "Don't be frightened. We wish you no harm. We wish you only happiness. I am called Cold."
Cold.
Cold. And
That's
that
another off-putting thing because nobody, like, people
cold.
don't want to be cold.
Exactly. Like
So
what?
it's like,
Cold? No, that's not a normal name. So that was the entire experience. Woodrow, drove away. After that, I think he realized, like when the man didn't need any help, he went along on his merry way. But the next morning, obviously, Woodrow went to the Parkersburg police and made a report of what happened to him, because he was like, that was not normal, So, shout out to
yeah.
him for going to do that. But
Okay,
oh,
but
go ahead.
okay. So, like, yes, that was weird, but, like, what are you reporting?
I mean, I think the fact that he saw like a UFO and like a man just like on the
Okay.
side of the street. But like why was he parked on the side of the street then? Like he's like, I don't need help.
Yeah.
So what are you doing?
Because I'm like, if he's reporting to the police, are you going to report a crime? Or I guess it's just like you're reporting something weird happening.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
I have to imagine, so because like Woodrow had a family. We'll get to that. He has like a family, and so like I think he's a daughter, and so in my brain I'm just like his dad brain is on, and he's like, oh well, if my daughter was driving on this road late at night, I wouldn't want her to come up on this man, so that's why I'm
yeah.
calling the police. That's like
Okay.
my
Yeah,
train
yeah.
of thought. I don't know if that was his, but regardless, he went to report what happened to him, and somehow, some way, I guess people who worked at the police office, the word got out very quickly. And it very quickly became a media frenzy, and the story kind of took off. And Woodrow agreed to be interviewed on live TV, along with some members of the police and also a representative of the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base from Dayton, Ohio. So,
Okay.
yeah, and so in the interview, you know, like he just kind of tells like his experience, what happened, and the police were there to like not back him up because they didn't see it, but they were like, yeah, like he came and reported it the next day. And the people from the Air Force Base, they were like, it wasn't anything of ours. Basically, they were like, it wasn't our
Okay.
spaceship. So, yeah, so after the interview aired, a few more reports actually came in of people recognizing that they had had a similar experience, but most of them were too afraid to stop and actually see if the man needed help. But they were like, actually, we have seen this man too, and his spaceship, but we didn't talk to him. So that was like, okay, okay, for sure. Some of them, though, did say that they did pull over and ask if they needed help, and that they were told by the guy, the man, Cold, that his full name was Ingrid Cold. So that's where the name comes from. That's what he claims his name is. The
Okay.
unknown man.
See, I already fully forgot that part of it.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
glad we're coming
So
full circle
Cold,
on
he
that.
said his name was Cold. He was giving his last name to Woodrow.
Right. Okay.
But apparently he told other people his full name was Ingrid Cold. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Maybe. Okay, here's a theory. What if his name, like, he decided, like, okay. So he's an alien coming from another planet, comes to this planet and realizes people have names. And he doesn't even have a name and just comes up with cold,
Cold.
right?
Yeah.
And then people respond to that, like, that's weird. Why would your name be cold, you know?
Yeah.
And then he just randomly
It's like,
picks Ingrid,
Ingrid.
because that's a woman's name that he ran into.
Possibly.
You know, like maybe
Yeah.
he just made these names
No,
up.
totally. It's totally possible that he made this name up. I was thinking that too. Because I'm like, first of all, they probably don't, if it really is an alien, they probably don't speak English. So,
Oh yeah.
you know, like they're picking random words.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and then they picked cold first, and then they realized,
Yeah.
okay, that's not actually a name. Let's just make it the last name.
Yeah. Because, like, a last name, it could be Cold. I think I actually know somebody whose last name is Cold. So,
Yeah, like that does sound more of a last name, yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, so several witnesses, yeah, they also came forward claiming to have driven by that same exact road that Woodrow was on. And, like, that night, they said that they claimed that night that Woodrow was talking to the man, and they saw him pulled over talking to a man. And so that part of the story has at least confirmed to be true. That Woodrow definitely pulled over on the side of the road and was talking to a man. And so I'm assuming that other people didn't stop because since they saw that two people were already over there, that he was getting help, you know? So, like, they didn't see. I don't know how far away, like, the vehicle was, but Woodrow couldn't tell that it wasn't a car until he got right up next to it. So, just to kind of, you know, play devil's advocate here for those people, we at least have confirmation that Woodrow was talking to somebody out there on that dark road that night. So, very interesting. So after this, Woodrow, he didn't do any of this to become famous. First of all, he actually was like, I'm doing the one interview and I'm not doing any more, and he never did. So respect, out of respect for that, truly. So after this, he tries to go back to his normal, usual life, which was hard at first, but eventually the news coverage, it died down. They moved on to the next big story. But Woodrow's life was not able to go back to normal completely. Why, you may ask? Well, you see, he claims that he was visited often by Ingrid Cold, this strange grinning man, over the course of the next month, but this time to his house. And eventually, even the other members of Woodrow's family told him that they too had encounters with the man and that they had talked to Cold and seen some other really weird stuff going on too. So when they go to tell the police about this, because I think he was seeing it, Woodrow was seeing it, but again, like, until somebody kind of confirmed his story, he wasn't like that worried about it. But once his family were like, we're seeing them, that's when he was like, okay, we're going to the police then. Because, like, it's not just me. Because I personally think that Woodrow thought he was going crazy, which we'll get to in a minute.
Okay.
Further. But until he got stories from his family validating that they were also seeing some weird things and seeing Ingrid Cold, he was like, okay, no, this is real.
Okay, see, that part of it is like good. Like he's getting validated for it. He's like feeling better about it. But on the other hand, it's like, okay, why are you talking to my family now though?
Right, like what do you want?
You know?
Yeah, like what do you want? No, seriously. So obviously when they go to the police, it encourages the media once again. It becomes this media frenzy once again. And this time, all of the people from the media, they want to come out to his house and try to capture Cold on camera, or at least see them for himself, like themselves. But of course, when they went, they did not find him, because obviously, if he don't want to be seen, he ain't gonna be seen. Duh. Like, come on. I don't know what they were thinking. They were gonna get lucky. Wrong.
Yeah.
Very wrong.
Wrong.
But of course, the stigma at the time, Woodrow still kind of thought, well, maybe I am going crazy. So he actually sought out medical attention. And his doctor came back with a completely clean bill of health and found no evidence of not even a slight chemical imbalance in his body.
Huh. Okay.
So
they're like, you're normal. So
yeah, they were like, there's nothing wrong with you from the inside out. So I don't know.
Can't relate.
Don't know how to help you on that. So he did actually write a book about what happened to him, but nothing after that. I think he just wanted to tell his story and be done with it. But unfortunately, this whole situation negatively impacted Woodrow's life for the rest of his life. The people in the town, it was a small town in West Virginia, so it was known by everybody, like, what happened, and everybody in the town would ridicule him and his family. They received years and years and years of harassing phone calls, and just about the fall of anything in this town was blamed on his quote-unquote fake stories and, like, blamed on Woodrow. So anytime anything would go bad in the town, like, say a house burned down, they're like, oh, that's Ingrid Cold and Woodrow's fault.
What?
Both of them.
Okay, but like, if they don't believe it, if they don't believe the story,
No, I
then
think they
how
do
are they
believe
gonna
the story.
Okay, so but I just don't get why they're gonna blame him though.
Yeah, I think that they, like, thought that he, like, brought him here or something.
Okay.
Like, that he's the reason. And,
but,
like, it's still not his fault.
No.
It's crazy.
It's just blamed everything bad that happened.
Yeah.
On him and the alien.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird. And so here's what's weird though. Woodrow also began experiencing really painful headaches, which is just interesting. He did still go to the doctor and they were like, we don't see anything like that could be causing this, so take some Tylenol, I guess, I don't know what to tell you. But he also got diagnosed with depression after this because his life was just going downhill for no reason. Like, when all of it was out of his hands. But eventually his wife ended up leaving him. And so he really just lost everything. So I feel like that, if anything, proves this man did not do this. He did not create this story just for the fun of it.
Yeah, I don't think
No.
he did. Because,
No, no, no.
yeah. Because honestly, like, I don't know. I feel like you can tell if a story, like, I don't know. Hearing the story and knowing that it's the 60s and it's a small town,
Yeah.
you just can infer that it's not going to go well if you tell people this story. So, like, why would he make it up?
Exactly.
Is what I'm,
Exactly.
what I
And
come to.
also, like, because people do argue that he made it up, but also he just reported it to the police. He didn't call the media there. Like, somebody
Yeah,
slipped the
that's another
story.
thing.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't making sure that he was getting his 15 minutes of fame. So yeah, after his wife left him, he decided it was time for him to move away from this area and get a fresh start. So he did that and lived out the rest of his days. So good for him. Hopefully he, got happier after that. There was no mention. So,
Okay.
which hopefully we just can assume and will assume that he lived the rest of his days and maybe is still living a
Yeah,
happy life. So
I think
now
so.
you may be asking and wondering from the beginning about the Mothman connection that I mentioned. So, during like the first media frenzy that was going on when it was big for like 15 minutes, Woodrow was actually able to speak to John Keel. John Keel wanted to hear Woodrow's story face to face. And so John Keel, he is actually the person who wrote the Mothman prophecies, the movie that led to the fame of Mothman.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yes, and also the book. It was a book before it was a movie. So he wrote
Mm-hmm.
the book, and then the book became a movie. And so, yeah. This actually led to Ingrid Cold making an appearance in the 2002 Mothman Prophecies movie, which, Savannah, we still need to watch that movie.
Yeah,
like,
we do. Have you seen it?
no.
Yeah, we need to watch that
No,
because
we said we
what
were gonna
Ingrid
watch
Cold.
it. Episode what was Mothman 2? So we're
Yeah,
a
we
little
need to get
behind.
on
We need to
that.
get on that immediately because now Ingrid Cold is in it too. So yeah, and so anyway, um, so I think mostly the connection is that these two relatively close towns together, both having like cryptid alien occurrences, is super weird. Also, when we're talking about like both of them being crossover from West Virginia to Ohio with the Ohio River, like that's like a big connection. Like that's like maybe I don't know what's in the area. Maybe there's some limestone or something in the area that makes it like this huge like spot to be, or maybe it's like the water. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I don't know. All I know is that this place seems to be kind of popping with this stuff. So, luckily, um, people people outside of his town do tend to believe Woodrow's story because of how little it did for him. He didn't get rich, famous, like I was saying. Um, so that's good that people believe him now. I hope that makes him happy now, wherever he is. But anywho, legend says that on a cold November night is the best time to run into Ingrid Cold. The more dark trees, murky creeks, and the further away from lights and people you are the more likely that you are to see him. However, all of the real stories that you read about Ingrid Cold, he actually doesn't do any harm to anybody that he comes across.
Mm-hmm.
And he does say that he only wants to do good for them, no matter how scary his smile is. So we have to argue like he only wants to do good, except for he only created bad in Woodrow's life. But like, was it purposeful? Who's to say?
I mean, it doesn't seem like it
I don't
was,
think so.
but
Yeah, like he doesn't seem malicious. Like he doesn't seem mad. He didn't probe him or take him on the spaceship or anything. Like I don't know what he's doing. My assumption is he's there to just look and see what humans are like, observe, see what's going on, see maybe how more he can create himself to be more human. And like maybe that's why. Maybe he just felt a connection to Woodrow because he was nice enough to stop and ask him if he needed help. I don't know. I don't really know. But I do have to mention, so like that's like the real story. But I have to mention that there is a creepypasta version of Ingrid Cold. So creepypasta, if you don't know, is like basically it came from Reddit, where people make these, they come up with these really scary stories that seem like they could be true. So there is a creepypasta version of Ingrid Cold that came out after the stories of the real Ingrid Cold. And in the creepypasta version, Ingrid Cold is very evil. He's a full-on stalker, and I mean, honestly, he got that part. They got that part that right, you know, in both stories. He stalked the family, IRL too. But we won't get too much into the creepypasta. But you know, he kind of is like a stone cold killer alien in
wow.
the creepypasta.
Okay.
So yeah, but I do. Like, I do kind of think Ingrid Cold is an alien, low-key. Like, I actually do kind of think he saw an alien. Because, I don't know,
I mean,
like, aliens, to me, like, when people say, like, I just don't believe that they're just, like, these little gray creatures. I think that if they are real, really, truly, and if they are smarter than us, they would be able to, like, transform themselves into trying to be like us. And we mentioned it multiple times on here before. But, like, aliens will try, or like creatures will try to give off the appearance that they're human, but there's always one or two things off. And so, like, the fact that there's only like two things off, I'm like, I don't know. It's really giving alien. So,
no,
but
I
like,
totally
what does he
agree.
want? I feel like this is also a mystery because I just need more answers. I don't know what he wants. Is he like?
Yeah.
And people say he's still out there. So like,
Yeah, see, that part confuses me too, because why would he still be out
I
there?
don't know. Maybe he
Why wouldn't
doesn't
he
have
just,
the answers. I don't know.
yeah, like you would think if it was an alien, then he would either go to different parts of the, the
The world.
planet, yeah,
Yeah.
like the whole world, not just the country, but like the world,
Yeah.
and or go to different planets, go back to
Exactly.
their
Go to
home
different
planet. Like,
universes.
why would they stay in West Virginia?
Right. That's okay. That's what it really boils down to.
Like,
He's gonna stay on this dark road in West Virginia. I'm confused, but that
see,
makes me
yeah.
lead towards like, okay, if if by chance this isn't an alien story, could it be possible that like this is like a ghost?
Oh,
I don't know,
maybe.
and that's just
I
my
mean,
theory. I didn't see this online at all, but I'm like, what if it was like a residual haunting? You know?
a residual haunting, but like some of the features are weird.
Or like maybe he got messed up, like how he died, like his arms are
Yeah,
cut off, his face got sliced up. I don't know, like
could
in a
be.
car accident, and maybe that's why his car doesn't look normal because it was like all bent and twisted. Like I don't know, I that's really just like a Taylor out there crazy out there theory, but like I can imagine like somebody getting in a really bad accident out there on that road in the dark, in the middle of nowhere, West Virginia, some late night, and then their body being like mutilated from the accident, and then there being a residual haunting out there, and that's why people keep seeing him out there. You know, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but Loki, I believe more that he's an alien. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What do you believe? Alien?
Yeah, no, I definitely believe that he's an alien, and I see part of me believes that he's an alien, and he, that first sighting was true, and he kept, showing up for this family and everything.
Yeah.
But in present day, he's not there, and people are just making up that they
Yeah.
can see him. I
Yeah.
think that could be it.
I think that could be it too. I like there are no like solid answers or solid proof. I mean, there's no solid proof that Woodrow did either, other than the police reports. But there's no real like today. If he was still out there today, we would have video evidence. That's all I gotta say about that. Like it would be on TikTok. So I do believe he's an alien, but I think he's gone now. Wherever Ingrid Cold may be today. Ingrid Cold, if you want to come visit me, if you can hear me, come visit. But only if Savannah's over, because I'm scared.
Yeah, come visit us.
Yes. come actually on the podcast and tell us yourself what you were doing out there, because I would love to know.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But yeah, that is the legend of Ingrid Cold. Da-da-da. Crazy.
Wow.
We love a good alien story. And honestly, I asked my parents because, they're from West Virginia if they had ever heard of this. And they were like, no. And I was like, ugh,
They haven't, even though they
no.
were so close to it.
Well, no, they're not that close to it.
Oh.
They're like 3 hours from it.
Oh. Oops.
Yeah.
But still, it's, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, right, it's in the state. I mean, I don't know. There's legends we've never heard about in North Carolina, so I'm not
true.
one to talk. But, yeah, no, it is crazy. So, maybe we'll have to do a little digging ourselves if we're ever up in those parts again,
Yeah. Yeah.
See if we can find Ingrid Cold out there on some dark night in the fall. But please go rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and be sure to check out our Instagram. We'll have some really creepy pictures of some depictions of Ingrid Cold for you. They're really creepy. And yeah, go check out our TikTok and our YouTube. And is there anything else I need to go check out?
Just I don't know. I think you listed it all.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Well, go do all the things, please, if you don't mind.
Yes.
And yeah, but that's really all I have for you. Honestly, the Ingrid Cold he's conflicting my brain right now. Because that's all I'm thinking about is like aliens. So
Yeah. Me too.
creepy.
It's just
Oh, he's infiltrated my mind. Get out. Get out, Mr. Cold. Get out.
infiltrated.
Well, anyways, I guess we will see you guys next week.
All right, cue the music.